Monday morning tea time is me having a quick look at the social media jobs that are on offer this week. It's mid-September 2020, and maybe giving some tips or some ideas about what category of social media job it is, because there's so many social media jobs and they all get slammed under one title, which may not be something you're interested in, or it may be something you really want to do but you hadn't thought about it as just specializing in that section. So with no further ado, let me press the countdown and then we'll get on to it. Okay, so I have been looking around, but I haven't looked at the jobs. We're going to discover the jobs together, I hope. If you have any questions, please leave me in the comments. I've got like a curation tool that brings all the comments together so I can see them live, or just say hello. Tell me that you can hear me okay. And let me switch to this one. Okay. So this is careers.twitter.com. They don't have an RSS feed, but you can burn one if you need one. Let's try London. I love international jobs. I spent 10 years as an expat working around the world, learning different languages, although I did live in England. And a little while I did some work in America, but mostly non-English speaking countries. And it was awesome, but COVID. Oh, no jobs in Sydney. I think that's the only office Twitter has. So let's just try all of them. Let's see what kind of jobs they have. So what do we want? We want like a community team, customer support often. It's interesting with platforms, they know that it's customer support that has to manage social media, and every other company struggles to put marketing and PR. And it's not that marketing and PR can't do customer support, it's just not their core skill. They should be directing customer service, and customer service should be directing engagement with social media. And if you don't believe me, think of the number of times you've walked into a company and said, I demand to speak to the marketing manager. It doesn't happen. Or maybe it should. Maybe marketing and PR are lovely people. Let's have a look at marketing and comms. So Twitter have a global business marketing manager in the UK. That's not social media, but hey ho. Paid marketing specialist. That's the self-serve ads team. A comms manager in San Fran, which is contract work. Research analysts and marketing insights. That's the one I'd be interested in. Anything to do with their big data or analytics, numbers, graphs. What can I say? I can spend a whole weekend cozied up to spreadsheets. Let me just see here. I'm just checking. Nothing's going on. Okay, good. Actually, I should just do that for you as well so that you can see. If I switch to here, it tells me if there's any messages waiting for me. There you go. I thought you'd find that exciting. My computer's huffing and puffing. I'm not sure why. I think it's because I'm running cameras and the graphics card is being busy. Qualitative, quantitative, social analytics, and marketing effectiveness. What's Twitter's social media analytics tool, the one they bought, called? Is it called Blue Dolphin? Blue Fish? Blue Goldfish? I think you can tell I'm struggling here. Failure. Someone needs to tell me what the name is. So you need to have 3 years conducting marketing research, A bachelor's degree with an emphasis in business, marketing science, social science, advertising media. Advertising media has a lot of analytics. So when you're writing reports for clients, frequently you're reporting back on return on investment of advertising dollar, marketing dollar, content creation dollar, whatever. Proficient at questionnaire design, programming, survey programming, and data analysis. Okay. So that's a specific, from my days of teaching marketing at university, that was a specific module. And I think we had pulled in a lot of psych-based analytics into that as well. Proficient communication, storytelling, and presentation skills. Interesting. The number of people who are excellent at storytelling and have that vivid imagination that can pull words and build pictures for people, that have that skill together with survey skills, analytics, and that kind of engineering mind are few and far between. So they're asking for quite a lot here. And normally what you do in an agency is you put the two people together. So you put the visual creative with, and they call it the creative, with a numbers person, I suppose. What do I know? Maybe things have changed in the decades I've been doing this. Oh well, there you go. So that's in San Francisco, research and analyst for marketing insights. If you're just joining us, me, Monday mornings I just have a bit of a poke around and see what jobs are open on social media platforms or social media manager jobs or whatever, so that we can see what's in the zeitgeist. What one thing that you'll notice if you monitor jobs, and I've done it not obviously publicly but privately for 15 years I guess now, is I really see the shift in emphasis. So at one point it's all about you need to be able to do content creation and content calendars, and then the next there'll be another phase where it's you need to be an expert in an engagement and getting more engagement, and then you have to be an expert in algorithms, and then so you can really monitor this as you go through the platforms, and often the leaders are the actual social media platforms themselves and what they're looking for. And that's mobile application advertising. I really don't know what they would put there. People. Oh, recruiting and HR. Let's move on. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. And we're only having a cup of tea this morning. And if you haven't grabbed a cup of tea, why not? It's Monday morning. Next Monday, 10:45, rinse and repeat. So you can make sure you grab your cup of tea at 10:30 and then have a sit down and have a chat with me. We can see what's going on. So Simon says on LinkedIn, I have a Seek job search that comes up every morning, and most of the job descriptions kind of make me laugh. Yeah, I did the same thing. And I think that it's important. I'm not looking for a job, but it's important for me to stay in touch with what's going on out there and how absolutely bloody unrealistic the job descriptions are. It's almost like we're looking for an intern we're going to pay $2 an hour to, and you must have 25 years experience on Facebook. I'm like, how long? What? Or you must know ads, and you must know all the tools, and you must be a data engineer, and you must be able to edit videos, and I'm the only person that fits that category. And it's only because I poke around in all of them, but I'm master of none. So I don't know why they do that. Let's have a look and see what we've got here. So we've got Facebook careers. Let's try location Sydney. Just for gits and shiggles. Oh, Auckland. Yeah, let's move to Auckland. Sydney. I'm going to chuck Singapore in because I lived in Singapore for a number of years and I do like Singapore. And by the way, I would take, if it was me, I would take a job in the other areas, but not everybody wants. I thought I didn't say, I said not Hong Kong. Anyway, safety policy manager. Oh, so this one's going to be fascinating. Let's bring this one up into the screen. So Simon said, it's great to see what's out there, though, not searching, but always interested to see what's going on. All of the skills. Yeah. Another one that I see is they say a social media director position, which kind of is probably more something I'm interested in. And I'm thinking a real director position. So a risk assessment role, a strategic role, but still can guide teams around content creation and all kinds of integrations and the big data side and everything. And then when I look at the director role, it's really very, very junior. So I don't think we've got our head around this yet. It's like people saying, I remember years ago, digital marketing was the same. It was a real mess. It was a mixture of everything. I'm going to move out of the way. So that, oh no, that's not going to work either. Okay. Let's move that to there. Can you see me? Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. So a safety policy manager, safety policy issues and programmatic responses. What's programmatic response? Oh, training the algorithm to identify, report, fix unsafe issues. So we had the situation with TikTok the other day of the poor man who committed suicide on TikTok. It would be pretty important for an algorithm which can respond instantly to what's going on to pick this up rather than it going into a queue to be assessed by humans. Analyze safety policy risks, online child safety, women's safety, and on mental health and well-being. Some of the more interesting things I've seen in this area are where the algorithm doesn't allow photos, images, videos, whatever, of young skinny people. It's almost like the reverse or the opposite of women's magazines. So if you see a cover of women's magazines, it's somebody looking very skinny and it's building that attractiveness side. And so, for instance, it's been quite an issue. It's under that YMYL that I talked about yesterday, your money, your life. And you think that puts people at risk around false nutrition and things like that. Questionable nutrition will be questioned or rejected or limited in its outreach. And so some of the ones I've seen have been for yoga, where they've said, no, you can't. Body dysmorphia, I think it's called. They don't want, it's under mental health and well-being. Develop and execute effective responses. Define effective, Facebooks. Do you mean that it gets the press off your back? Does it mean that it doesn't become a Senate inquiry? Does it mean that it genuinely affects the mental health of people on Facebook, given that negative and controversial posts have higher engagement and are therefore higher in the news feed? So your favorite person you like to argue with will show up time and time again, and people you agree with you see less often, which is the opposite of what everybody thinks. That's out of the data research centres. A successful candidate should have a strong background in online safety. Build relationships with key advocacy groups, policymakers, academics and researchers. Hong Kong, Sydney, Australia and Singapore. Look, there is a number of shitstorms, technical term, that are building and are continuing to build and will be a continual crisis comms area for Facebook, and to a lesser extent LinkedIn and Twitter, even though they're doing exactly the same things. And it has to do with how our data is being used. It has to do with safety and trolling and things like that online. It has to do with media regulations and just how backwards ACMA and ACCC and all those kind of organizations are in their understanding of the deeper policy issues. Asking, for instance, an American company to censor Australian citizens on political discussions is going to pay off in very weird ways in the future. And I also don't like American corporate cancel culture where, yes, my shoulders are still sore from Saturday, that asking when American companies create cancel cultures themselves, not user generated, but they themselves step up and create almost like a guild to block another company or to block something. You have to ask why, who's behind it, who owns that company, yada yada yada. Able to work with academics, researchers, policymakers. I've done those things. It's not as fun as people think it is. It's a full-time position, preferably based in Singapore. However, for the right location, right candidate, they could be obviously Sydney as well. Most of the things would be... most of the things would be virtual anyway, wouldn't they? I once had a job in Singapore for a massive global company, tech company. And for 2 years, I was the only staff member in Singapore, but I managed teams in Japan, in China, New Zealand, Australia, Taiwan, where else? Philippines, and basically spent all my time flying around and doing virtual stuff. In fact, we had the first virtual training online in the late 90s. There you go. What's their qualifications? Be pretty serious. This is not a junior role. The best thing Facebook could do for their policy is educate people. Seriously. All right, let's go back to this one. I just was quickly looking at the minimum qualifications down here. LinkedIn careers. Let's see what LinkedIn's got. The social graph on LinkedIn is called the economic graph, which I don't know why, but I find that hilarious. It's like, it's not made up of people. Every person is an economic data point. Sorry, that's my really bad American accent. So let's have a look at their jobs. LinkedIn jobs or Microsoft jobs. Obviously, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. Somebody just messaged me on LinkedIn, but I'm not going to look at it right now because it will be revealed to everybody on the live stream. LinkedIn Australia. So that's the website. Oh, I know. They're just using their company page. Well, there you go. You'll notice that Facebook didn't use Facebook jobs. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's shit. Sorry, technical term. It's shocking. I did not like my one and only experience on Facebook jobs. That's the jobs app that you can add to your business pages to hire people. So I was doing some testing for a client and we decided to stay away from it big time. It'll get better, but I think one of the things with Facebook is they try to compete with every other platform. So they're trying to do YouTube with their video, and then they're trying to do Twitch live with their live stream, and then they're trying to do online courses with their online courses app, and none of it works because they don't do it properly. They don't commit to it. They don't, whatever. Account director, talent and learning. See all jobs. This is in worldwide. Senior content marketing consultant in LinkedIn in London. Woo. I'm guessing I can change this to Sydney. I don't use this one. I use my own saved one. All filters. Boop, 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 boop. And we can do a Singapore location. That's funny because they had Sydney, but they haven't got it selectable here. Maybe it sits under something else. Account director, talent and learning. So there'll be LinkedIn learning. Customer meetings. Sales with integrity. It's the only way to sell. Data and insights. What are we doing here? Mid-market. Oh, okay. Just selling LinkedIn products into that sector. I think they've got a bit of a hard work ahead of them. I don't know. LinkedIn in China. Do you have to know Mandarin? Probably. My great regret was going off and studying Arabic. Not because I didn't want to learn Arabic. I did. But I often feel like, I had a choice of Arabic or Mandarin. And at the time, I knew which one would be better career-wise. But I just thought living and studying in Morocco was going to be fun. Which it was, by the way. I'm not sure that's why you should choose your studies, but there you go. Lead content creation. Review and publishing of marketing conference trade show materials, solution decks, so what's that, PowerPoint, EDMs, so email newsletters, social posts, landing pages, videos, webinars and infographics. Yeah, that looks like fun. Are you seeing Mandarin on there? It's got to be, right? How do you communicate with the local community if you're not speaking their language? Okay. Measurement analytics partner. Oh, please improve your analytics. Is it just me, or is analytics all over the place for LinkedIn? And the tools are few and far between. Maybe compared to some of the others. What else are we doing? Just checking comments. Nothing. Good. Let's carry on. Well, no new ones anyway. TikTok careers. They've had a lot of change in staff. And they're under fire. And if they sell, things could change dramatically again. Depends on who buys them. If Rupert Murdoch buys TikTok, if Bezos and Washpo buy TikTok, I don't know what's going to happen. Do you think Donald Trump will buy it? So Sydney jobs, what do we got here? We've got a product analyst. I always think if you can do a certain amount of work with the social media platforms and then go and do agency work and then switch around and do and be the client, that mixture is kind of a golden triangle of understanding issues on every side of the fence. Never blame the social media manager for a screw up. A screw up takes teams and teams of people. And I feel sorry for the ones that have to put on their resume that they were the social media manager during XYZ shitstorm, because rather than that being a negative point, let me tell you now, those people, if they've been burnt, if they've been through the fire, if they've been forged in the depths of social media hell, I would want them on my team, because they know realistically, things that inexperienced social media consultants will say, like, oh, you should just apologize, and you know what kind of a storm that can create. Or just ignore it is another one. And you know what kind of a storm that can create. Then you start to realize you need to have a lot of tools in your social media toolbox. And for me, trial by fire is one of the best ones. And even if you made every mistake in the book, hey, you learned from it. Well, that's the question that I would ask in the interview. Maybe we should do an interview series where I interview myself for one of these roles. So TikTok is looking for a director of marketing, strategic partnerships, so that would be affiliates and partners, I guess. Creator growth strategist, so this would be influencers. And everybody at the moment is like, Facebook fought to get YouTube influencers onto the Facebook live streaming platform. TikTok's looking to get probably, I don't know, Instagram or YouTube or Twitch or some other kind of creators onto their platform. Really, if there's a definition of an influencer, it's somebody who's experienced in creating content and creating channels, because there's no point having great content without a channel, and there's no point having a big channel if they're just seeing you as curating the content and not offering as much value as some of the actual content creators. So what do we got here? We work with creators, public figures, what's that, celebrities, media agencies. I have to bring that over again. I don't know what's happened with my layout. And heritage media. To grow their presence online and on TikTok. What's your favourite Australian TikTok? And what brands from Australia have you seen on TikTok? I've been curating a list lately of Australian brands on TikTok, and there's actually quite a few. And some of the stuff came a little bit crashing down. I think the footy, there was quite a lot going on with footy. And if you're watching this from outside of Australia, all of our local or regional offices for instance, for Twitter and for TikTok, it has a big focus on sports. We're sort of supposed to be sports mad, but not all of us. Oh, I'll tell you something funny. The best social media managers for sports hate that sport. And the reason for that is they can always claim to be impartial. They're not barracking for Team A or Team B. They're just, what's the word? Couldn't care less. Excuse me. That sneeze came out of nowhere. Define stakeholder. I think one of the things that I do when I'm either on the interview panel for social media managers coming in, or if I was interviewing for a social media manager, executive, whatever position, is I would have all the questions ready around targeted audiences, around what the content calendars look like, who are the stakeholders, what would return on investment and KPIs look like, and just have a super clear idea. Also make sure that I understand their weak points. So do they have experience if they're applying, or if I'm applying, then I'd ask the company, what's your crisis comms strategy? Are you aware of regulatory issues in your industry around social media? Are you complying with the stock exchange, reporting back to the market, things that happen on social media, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, you could simply go to LinkedIn, and rather than looking for jobs at LinkedIn, you could look for social media manager jobs and then choose a location and then try and find the particular type. Okay, I've sneezed and I've coughed. I think that's my sign I need to get off. What else do we have coming up? Sunday is social media news for the week. That's Sunday mornings, early. 10:45 Mondays is jobs. And then and these are live streams, and then I record and edit other videos to go up. So at the moment, we've got some going up around how small to medium-sized businesses in the Blue Mountains outside of Sydney, in a tourist town, can use social media during the time of COVID-19, coronavirus, to build and engage communities and to stay, I guess, on top of things. So those 3 videos are coming out. Thank you to the Blue Mountain City Council for sponsoring those. That was lovely of them. And my end of month Facebook and Instagram course has now been put off to the end of November, the last week of November. I think it's the Thursday and Friday. And the 3-day Advanced Social Media Managers course has also been put off, and I haven't quite got a date for that yet, but probably around end of November, beginning of December. And that's for social media professionals in government and large agencies. And it's not how to schedule a post on Instagram. It's a lot more in depth than that. It's an advanced course. What else am I up to? We've got Zooms, doing private Zooms at the moment. And that's it. No trips coming up. I want to go and see my mum. Once we can cross states safely, I can go and hi, Mum. And yeah, that's it, I guess. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you and see you in the next live session, if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I hope you found this somewhat entertaining or interesting or informative or educational, or just gave you something to do while you have your cup of tea on a Monday morning.